I'm on my morning stroll. I see the nature flourishing all around. Look at this cat. It hunts during night and relaxes during the daytime. I wonder how this cat and all other creatures survive in the open throughout the year, irrespective of the weather and climate. This duck family is arranging for its breakfast on one more bright sunny day. They are as comfortable in water as they are on land. How? We as human beings, we have fans, ACs, sweaters and jackets, whereas they are always in their natural self. Look at these poultry birds. They are busy playing hide and seek, hiding from the cat probably, and at the same time seeking their morning meal. Their life is definitely not easy, but their ability to adjust to the changing surrounding is remarkable. And that is what we shall see in this video. Come on, let's learn about them. Let's learn biology. My dear viewers of Standard 7, welcome. We are on chapter number 7, Weather, Climate and Adaptation of Animals to the Climate. In first part, we have learnt about weather. Second part was about climate and the factors that makes the climate of any place. And third part is about adaptation of animals to different climates. I have already uploaded videos on first and second segment of this chapter, and for detail you can watch my videos on my channel BioHub. Today our focus is on the last or third part of this chapter, adaptation of animals. So this is the most fascinating part of the chapter, and the learning objective of this video is, after watching this video, 4 things should be clear to my viewers. First, what is adaptation? Second, adaptation of animals to the cold climate. Third, how animals which are living in the hot climate, they are adapting to that climate. And fourthly, what are the various types of adaptation which are there in the animals in hot and wet climate. Adaptation. Before proceeding with decoding the meaning of this term, let's try to connect with this term adaptation with the help of our daily observations, like what would we dress up in different weather or climates? So if it's summer, we are in the summer dress. If it's monsoon, we have umbrella, we wear raincoats. And if it's winter, then we wear woolen clothes. So this is our adaptation to different changes in the weather or the climate where we live. So children, we can say to change as per the change surrounding is called adaptation. So this is the literal meaning of adaptation. What we have to learn the scientific meaning of this term. But before that, we have to learn about few more terms. And the first term in this category is habitat. What is a habitat? You also have an idea about this term and you will be able to answer this. But let me put another question. What do you need to survive? 3 things which came in your mind must be. We need food, water and shelter to survive. Correct. So likewise children, animals also need the same things and they live in a place that can provide it to them. The place that supplies the things which an organism wants or needs to survive becomes its habitat. So children, what is a habitat? वो जगह जहाँ पे एक ऑर्गेनिज्म को सरवाइव करने के लिए, मीन्स जिंदा रहने के लिए खाना भी मिले, पानी भी मिले और शेल्टर भी मिल जाए, वो हुआ उसका हैबिटेट, मतलब उसका होम। हमारा हैबिटेट क्या है? हमारा घर, जहां हमें फूड, वाटर, शेल्टर मिलता है। बट वी आर ह्यूमन बींग्स, वी आर कंस्ट्रक्टिंग आवर हैबिटेट. These animals, they don't have this provision. Nature is their home. Now we have to pen it down in the form of definition. The natural home or environment of a plant, animal or organism which supplies it with food, water and shelter, that is called the habitat of that animal. So this is the meaning of habitat. Now my students know what is the habitat. So where do tigers live? Or let me put it another way. What is the habitat of tiger? Correct. Forest or thick jungle is the habitat of tiger. Why? Because उस जंगल में या उस फॉरेस्ट में उसको पानी भी मिलेगा, फूड भी मिलेगा और शेल्टर भी मिलेगा. तो हैबिटेट ऑफ टाइगर इज अ फॉरेस्ट और अ थिक जंगल. Likewise, mouse. Our kitchen can be a habitat for a mouse. Now children, look at these wildebeests. Grassland is the habitat of wildebeest. Similarly, owls, they generally prefer to live in hollow barks of tall trees. So the habitat of an owl is hollow bark of tree. So now it's time to learn how it is helping in adjustment of any organism to its environment, and that is, we are going to get the answer of this question. What is adaptation? So adaptation is the physical or behavioral characteristic of an organism that helps that organism to survive better in its habitat. It is either physical. Physical means within the body certain changes are there which are making the organism to live or survive in existing climate. Behavioral characteristics are related to the behavior of the organism. And children, one more thing. This adaptation is a very slow and continuous evolutionary process. It goes from one generation to another generation to another generation. Now, why this adaptation is required? Why this adaptation is necessary? Let's understand this. Adaptation by an organism, whether it's an animal, a plant or microbe, it is done in order to, number one, live in a new or changing environment. Second is protect oneself from predators. Predators कौन होते हैं? जो एनिमल को खा जाएं. जैसे lion and deer में lion is a predator and deer is a prey. Third reason that animals, they are going for adaptation is to compete with similar species for food. Fourthly, to survive in harsh climatic conditions. Let's understand the importance of same points with the help of examples. First point was to live in a new or changing environment. So children, we have an ideal example of apple snail, and it can live in a diverse type of habitats, right from swamps, ditches, ponds to lakes and rivers. And reason of adaptation is it has lungs also and gills for respiration. Second logic is to protect oneself from predator. One such adaptation is camouflage, to blend itself with the surrounding, to save oneself from predators. Next is compete with similar species for food. This is one of the carnivore animal, cheetah. So to compete with the other members of the cat family, it has increased its speed. Next is to survive in harsh climatic conditions. They can be extremely low temperature, they can be extremely high temperature. You know, animals, plants, microbes, they are present everywhere. So how they are surviving? By slowly and continuously adjusting to the surrounding, and this is adaptation. So now children, meaning of adaptation is also clear to you. In your syllabus, we have to learn about adaptation of animals to three different type of climates. First one is cold climate, second is hot climate, and third is hot and wet climate. So children, stay connected and let's see how these creatures, they are adapting themselves to these three kinds of extreme climates. So first one I am taking adaptation to cold climate. मतलब वो जगह जहाँ बहुत ठंड होती है. बहुत ठंड का अंदाजा आप लगा सकते हैं कि हम पोलर रीजन की बात करने वाले हैं. वहां पे एवरेज टेम्परेचर इज जनरली 10 डिग्री सेल्सियस and most of the time it goes down to minus 30 degrees Celsius, at some parts of the polar region has also touched minus 80 degrees Celsius. These are the 4 examples to make understand about the adaptation of animals to cold climate: polar bear, penguin, seal and birds. Let's explore the adaptive features of polar bear. Let's understand. So this polar bear, it has dense, fine fur, which is visible in this picture, that traps air to keep them warm. Under this white fur, it has black skin that absorb maximum of the heat, because you know black color जो है बहुत heat absorb करता है. Another important feature is beneath that black skin there is a layer of fat, and that is called blubber, B-L-U-B-B-E-R. This is a new term for my 7th class students. So blubber is very important term. It acts as an insulator. ये body heat को बाहर नहीं जाने देता. They can swim under the frozen ice, and they are very good swimmer because they have large paws that help them to swim, and they can close their nostrils and remain underwater for longer duration. Next is camouflage. So it is helping it in 2 ways. The polar bear has white fur which camouflage with the white snow. So it protects the polar bear against predators जो उसको ना खा जाए, and it also helps the polar bear to catch the prey. Now one question for my viewers. So can we keep polar bear in coldest part of India? What do you think? I'm sure you will come up with the answers in the comment section. Next animal which stays comfortably well in the polar region is Mr. Penguin. So how penguins have adapted to the polar region? Let's explore that. Penguin is a flightless bird. The maximum part of our body is white. White color of the body, it helps them to camouflage with the snow. 2 फायदे हो जाएंगे. Predator से बच जाएंगे और prey को ढूंढ लेंगे. Another thing, their feathers and thick skin acts like an insulator. Another very interesting thing about adaptation of penguins is they huddle to get warmth from each other. जब बहुत ज़्यादा temperature down चला जाता है, they stand very close to each other, and that is called huddling, and it keeps them warm. Next adaptive feature of penguins is that they are very good swimmers. They have streamlined body and it helps them to swim. Now let's see what all is there in seal's body which is enabling it to survive in polar region. Seal is also white in color, can camouflage in the snow, and it can dodge the predators, and it can catch the prey. But in addition to that, this too have that special thick layer of fat in its body which is called as blubber. It protects it from cold. So children, these are few animals. But few birds are also seen in the polar region and the colder regions of the world. So how birds adapt to cold climate? You know that birds have feathers to protect their body from cold. However, this protection is not enough for the extreme winter in the polar region. तो सिर्फ feather से काम नहीं चलने वाला. So many of the birds, to escape the cold, they migrate to warmer regions during winter. And many of them, they come to India from Siberia. Many of Siberian birds, they come to India every year during winter. So when the winter is over, they go back to Siberia. So this is behavioral characteristic of birds to adapt to cold climate. There are few more ways also to reduce heat loss, and those features are also of equal importance. Like their body parts, ear or tail and legs, they are very small because these are the parts from which maximum of heat loss is there. So all those animals which are living in the colder climates, their ear, legs and tail, it is smaller. Another way to minimize heat loss is to go for hibernation during winter months to reduce loss of heat. ठंडे इलाके के बहुत सारे animals जो हैं अपने आप को ठंड से बचाने के लिए वो एक deep sleep में चले जाते हैं for some months, and that is called hibernation, and it also helps them to reduce loss of heat. Hibernation is a deep sleep that helps certain animals to save energy and survive the winter without eating much. There are a number of animals which go for hibernation. like bear, snake, snail, hedgehog, bats and tortoise. बट हाइबरनेशन और डीप स्लीप पे जाने से पहले वो क्या करते हैं, हाइबरनेटिंग एनिमल्स गेट रेडी फॉर द हाइबरनेशन. अब सोने के लिए भी तैयार होते हैं. कैसे तैयार होते हैं? मेकअप करके तैयार नहीं होते हैं. बाय ईटिंग एक्स्ट्रा फूड एंड स्टोरिंग इट एज बॉडी फैट which they then use as energy while sleeping. In addition to this, another method of reducing heat loss is also seen in case of reptiles. They keep their body warm by absorbing solar radiation. So दिन के टाइम वो किसी excluded place में जहाँ sun rays आ रही हैं वहां जाके solar radiation लेते हैं to get heat, and during night they seek shelter in certain warm places. So this was about adaptation of animals to the cold climate, where you have seen physical changes and behavioral changes in the animal to survive in the extreme cold conditions of the polar region or other colder places. Now our next objective is to explore about the adaptive features of animals which live in extreme high temperature of hot climate. So adaptation to hot climate, and for that first thing is by becoming nocturnal. So many of the animals which live in the hot climate, they are nocturnal. वो दिन में सोते हैं और रात को एक्टिव होते हैं, रात को खाने की तलाश में निकलते हैं. And this helps them to escape heat. So there is a wide range of nocturnal animals, and so all those animals which are active during night time, they are called nocturnal, and these are the examples of nocturnal animals. So second feature is by physical characteristic. बॉडी में कुछ ऐसे characteristic हो जिनकी हेल्प से हम भरी दोपहर में भी आराम से अपने खाने की तलाश कर पाए. So now notice the large ear of this fennec fox. It lives in the desert and it has long legs too. Not only ears are long, but legs are also long, and it has a large tail. So why? What is the logic of big ears, large tail, long legs? Here you have to remember that ear, legs and tail, these are three parts of the animal's body जहाँ से heat loss होता है. So those animals which are living in the desert, they have large ears, long tail and long legs, ताकि maximum heat जो है dissipate हो जाए, उनको गर्मी कम लगे. And something very special about their ears, the ears have blood vessels. हमारे कान में भी blood vessels होती हैं near the surface, उनके में भी हैं, उनके कान बड़े हैं. The air blows across the ears, cools the blood. So their large ears helps them to cool themselves. So this is a physical characteristic. But the animals which live in hot climate, they do have other options also, like panting. You have seen dogs, their rate of breathing, it increases. So it helps them to cool. In the same way, few animals, they lick to cool themselves and to cool their kids. Like this mother kangaroo is licking its baby kangaroo to make it comfortable in the hot climate. Now let us see a short documentary on adaptation by Camel. Adaptation by camels. Let's have a look at how efficiently the camel has adapted to the harsh conditions of the hot deserts. When an animal makes physical changes in its body to adapt to the surrounding, it is called adaptation.
Hello friends. Living in the desert isn't easy. My ancestors slowly adapted to the harsh conditions of this place. Let me show you how.
First adaptive feature is wide feet. Camels' huge feet and long legs help it to walk on the sand without sinking into it. Second adaptive feature is pads. Camels have pads on their feet and chest to protect them from the immense heat of the hot desert sand. Third feature is eyelashes. The camel's long, thick Double eyelashes protected from getting sand in the eyes. Fourth feature is hump. The camel stores fat in its hump, which is used as food in emergency and shortage. Fifth feature is thick lips. Camels have thick lips which help them to eat twigs, bones, and thorns very comfortably. They can even eat cactus, which provides them with water. Sixth adaptive feature is nostrils. Camels can shut their nostrils so they do not get sand up in their nose.
For having conquered the dunes, I am proudly known as Ship of the Desert.
So this was about adaptation of animals to the hot climate. Next is adaptation of animals to the hot and wet climate. Hot and wet, जहाँ पे बहुत ज्यादा बारिश होती है और बहुत गर्मी होती है, दोनों ही चीजें हैं. तो ऐसे क्लाइमेट में how the animals are adapting themselves, let's explore now. This climate is the ideal climate for a variety of plants, animals, and microbes. And they are of different colors, shapes, shades, and similarly their methods of adaptation are also different. Like this is line-tailed macaw. Hardly comes down from the tree. It stays on the trees. It swings from one branch to another plant, but on the trees only. Fruits वगैरह खाता है. Now children, look at this vibrantly colored, red-eyed tree frog. Isn't it a beautiful creation of Mother Nature? Now pay attention to its feet. It has webbed feet and they have sticky pads, जिसकी help से ये trees के ऊपर ही रहता है to survive and to dodge the predators. Now can you find out one jaguar is there in this picture and it is camouflaging in the dried leaves. So this is one of the adaptive feature of this jaguar to catch hold of the prey without revealing his presence in the surrounding. Now, Asian elephants, this majestic royal animal, it has large ears जो उसको cool करने में help करते हैं और धीमी सी low sound को भी सुनने में help कर देते हैं. The trunk is there, जिससे ये पानी भर के अपने आप को cool कर लेता है. Tusks are there, जिसके help से ये different trees के bark को tear करके उसको खाता है. So elephant is also an animal which is found in hot and wet climate. So this was about adaptation of animals to hot and wet climate. So it's time to summarize and recap. In this video, we started with the meaning of habitat. We learned about the logic behind adaptation. And the major focus of this video was adaptation of animals to three extreme type of climates. And these are cold climate, hot and wet climate. Now, my viewers know if the penguins are huddling, so why they huddle? If the Siberian crane is migrating and coming to India, why it is coming to India? And then why it is going back? My viewers, they also know why camel is called as the ship of the desert. What are its adaptive features which is making it to survive in hot desert of Rajasthan or Sahara. And lastly, we came to know about the adaptive features of animals like elephant, red-eyed tree frog, macaw who live and survive in hot and wet climate. So now it's time for self-assessment. I suggest you to go through these three questions to prepare this chapter for your half yearly. My next video will be on chapter number 10. It is about soil. And in that video, I'm going to cover composition of soil. So I want you to stay connected and explore that chapter also with your facilitator. So now it's time to wind up this video. I want to thank all my viewers for staying tuned to my channel. If you're liking the content of my video, then please do subscribe to it. If you're finding the flow of information easy to understand and interesting, then give me a thumbs up too. And do share the link of my channel with your fellow friends. Let's learn together. So with this, I'm signing out. It's a bio bye from your facilitator, Dr. Seema Sharma. Keep exploring about biology with me on my channel, BioHub. Bio bye.